I don't have anything written down. I was just thinking I would give a little bit of my testimony. It's funny, it was very similar to what Pat was saying. I grew up in the Baptist church, but before that, I lived in Maryland, but my parents are both from Philadelphia. I don't know if you know people from Philly, but they say what's on their mind. And a lot of times they use colorful words to do that. My mom's a very competitive person. She was playing tennis one day with this lady, and I guess she made a bad shot. So she cursed. She said Christ's name in vain. And the other lady stopped, and she goes, "Oh, do you know him?" My mother's like, "What? What are you talking about?" She goes, "Jesus, do you know him?" She's like, what are you talking about? She goes, "You said Jesus Christ's name. Do you know him?" And she's like, this lady's crazy. So anyways, this lady continued to witness to my mom and won her over. And, and once we started going to church and I was all in, I was like, yeah, I want to be baptized. And it was in the Baptist church, and every time the doors were open, I wanted to be there. Every Wednesday night, every Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. I even went, to church with some of my friends, and we did Young Life, and, I just couldn't get enough. I was in every Bible study I could get in. I just wanted to know more and more and more. And I had never heard these truths. And, I just thought, gosh, the Christian life's so hard, got to be so good all the time and do all the right things. And, so then I finally met Sylvia. Well, it was funny because God is so good. A lot of times I'm like, why didn't you tell me this years ago? I could have been such a great Christian, But he just, his timing is perfect. It's always perfect. So my husband and I were here, and Steve had invited my husband to Sylvia's. He's like, "Hey, this lady, she lives down the street from you, come on Thursday night." So my husband's like, "I'm going to go to this Bible study. I'm just going to go, see what it's like." I'm like, "Fine, who am I to say you can't go to a Bible study, So he goes and he comes home and he's like, there were other women there, and, so I think it's okay if you came. So I'm like, okay, I'll come. And just, it's just been wonderful ever since. And it's just all the dots were connected, and the aha moments, and the just finally the truth, and everything just finally started coming together. And it's like, yeah, why are we not taught all this at church? But as I was starting to go to Sylvia's, one of the Bible studies I was doing was based around Jeremiah 29:13, and it was, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." And I wrote that on this chalkboard in my bedroom, and I'm like, "Lord, I'm seeking you. I'm in 4 Bible studies. How many more do I need to be in, And he just was like, "Well, you're not seeking me with all your heart." I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And, he showed me that, he didn't want me to be learning or having other people just tell me what to study, what to do, how to apply it to my life, all these things. He wanted to teach me from the heart. And so slowly he had me give up all these Bible studies, and then he had me write a Bible study from Sylvia's teachings. And but yeah, he just came through, and like Sharon was saying, you sit down, you're like, okay, I know what I want to write, and I know what I want to do, and here I'm going to lay this out. And I just sit there and I'm like, okay, it's not working. So I'd get up from the computer, and then, a couple days later, God would be like, go sit at the computer. And I'm like, I got nothing. I don't know. I've tried. I don't know what to write. So then, I'd just go up there, and sure enough, he'd put things right in front of me that I needed. I'd flip open something like, oh, that's good, and I would pound out 4 pages, or, it was neat to see him work and not me. But the thing that really hit me this morning was, I'm not going to be like Kelly and Pat and cry, was when I was looking at the Jeremiah 29:13 verse again, it says, I noticed for the first time it said, you will seek me, and you will find me. And I hadn't seen those where I was like, why does it start like that? I used to just think, it just starts weird. You will find me and seek me, and I was like, I always thought it would be like, if you seek me, then you'll find me, but this morning it just really hit me. You will find me. He knows. He knew that I was going to do that. He knows my heart. So, so that's pretty much my story in 5 minutes. I don't have, I have it at the, George has one. Sylvia has a booklet called What is Man? And I was just thinking, gosh, this is all the information in one booklet that everybody needs to know. Oh, Steve's bringing one up. And so for me personally and selfishly, I wanted everything for me, thank you, in one place. So I started writing this journey of faith, and I started with her What is Man, ended up going into Wings, and so it's basically, it's kind of set up for a 4-week Bible study. Yeah. There's people doing it. There's people who've done it in Pennsylvania, people in South Carolina doing it. I think there's people in Pennsylvania or Michigan doing it. Was there some? I think I heard that. My mom, her Bible study in Maryland, they're going to do it this fall. I started doing it with my church group that I had Bible studies with. I started a couple weeks ago, so they're giving me a little pushback because they're saved sinners and they're, have all those isms that we always say when we don't know the truth. But it starts out, just in the beginning, law of opposites, the Garden of Eden, spirit-soul differences, 2 natures. What are we? Who is man? And then, but God. But God, he gave us Christ. So the blood of Jesus, what that does, the body, death of Jesus. And I mean, and Sylvia, if you've ever been to one of her, if you've listened to her Bible studies, she's always like, okay, well, let's now go to 1 John. Okay, and then that's because in Ephesians, and then that's because in 1 Corinthians, and that's because, you can hardly keep up. And it's awesome, though, because she ties everything together. But, this is just the 2 different natures. This is who we were and who we are. All the verses, they're all right there. So it's just, for me personally, that's what I need. Because I wanted to share with other people, but I was like, yeah, I'll have to look at where that is. I'll have to ask Sylvia, and I couldn't just spit out the Bible verses like she could. And when I first started writing this, I give there's a little blurb, about what the law of opposites is. Then I have everybody look up the Bible verses. And then there's like a summary. Well, basically word for word Sylvia's stuff. And when I first started writing it, I thought, well, I'm just going to quote her, put her stuff in there, then I'll go back and I'll rewrite it in my own words. Yeah. I tried, and I'm like, Lord, I can't, just give me the words. I can't rewrite this. And he finally said to me, he goes, Karen, those aren't her words. Those are my words. I mean, yes, there should be quotations around all this stuff because it's from Sylvia's studies. But, yeah, so that made me feel a little bit. My name's on it. I mentioned her because she wouldn't let me quote her. But, yeah. So, and if anybody wants, I can send you the PDF if anybody wants it, and then you can print out your own or whatever, you know. I don't care. It is nice in the spiral. So, that's it. Yep.